how are you? This is Muhammad Imran. Most often when we appear for an interview, so an interviewer greets us either with how are you or how do you do. So did you know the difference between how are you and how do you do? If not, you're going to learn in this video. First, we will talk about how are you. So we use how are you for the people who are already known to us or we are known to them. And we use how do you do for the people that we are meeting for the first time. So American, they do not prefer to use how are you for the person they are meeting for the first time. So they will use how do you do. Same is the case with us also. When we are meeting someone for the first time, don't say how are you, say how do you do, and use how are you for the people that you are already known to them or they are known to you. Now, for example, if I go to my class and if I attend my class for the first time and my students are they are attending my class, this is day first, right? So I'll go to class and I'll greet them with how do you do, because this is our first introduction. So on the very first day, I'll say how do you do. And if I go tomorrow, day after tomorrow, second week, third week, second month, third month, then I'll greet them with how are you, right? So that is the difference, that meeting someone for the first time, we use how do you do. Meeting someone on daily routine, then we use how are you. That is the first difference. Now, the second difference between how are you and how do you do is the response. What will be our response to how are you and how do you do? So if someone says to you, how are you? So your response should be, I'm fine, thank you. What about you? Or if I ask you, how are you? You may say, I'm good, thank you, and how are you? Or how are you? You will say, thank you so much, what about you? But if someone says to you, how do you do? You can't say, I'm fine, thank you. So that will be not an appropriate response here. So the formal reply of how do you do is how do you do. Got it? So the formal reply of how are you is I'm fine, thank you. What about you? And the formal reply of how do you do is how do you do. Because now you may ask that why the formal reply of how do you do is how do you do. Why is the case? Because how do you do means nice to meet you. So if someone says to you, nice to meet you, so what will be your response? You will say, it's nice to meet you. Or if I say hello, you will say hello. If I say hi, you will say hi. So the formal reply of hi is hi. And the formal reply of hello is hello. And the formal reply of nice to meet you is nice to meet you. So similarly is the case if someone says, how do you do? So the formal reply should be, how do you do? Don't say in response to how do you do, I'm fine. So that will be wrong. That wouldn't be an appropriate response to how do you do. So that is what Americans do, right? So from today onward, if an interviewer asks you, how do you do? So your response should be, how do you do, sir? Right? Because he's asking or she's asking you, it's nice to meet you. You should say, it's nice to meet you. Or if an interviewer greets you with, how are you? So you should say, thank you, sir, I'm fine. What about you? So this is difference. Most often because From so many people, I heard that they were asked the question, right? An interview by interviewer that how do you do? So they replied, I'm fine, sir. How are you? So that isn't an appropriate reply to how do you do. So that was the difference between how are you and how do you do. So two differences I talked about. We use how do you do to the person that we are meeting for the first time. And the formal reply of how do you do is how do you do? And we use how are you for the people that already we are known to them or they are known to us. And the formal reply of how are you is I'm fine, thank you, what about you? So because I told you that if someone asks you, okay, that it's nice to meet you or it's pleased to meet you, it's not like a question, it's not a question, right? Just to start an introduction and conversation, right? I say that it's pleased to meet you. So what will you say? You will say, I'm fine, thank you. Not at all. If I say, it's pleased to meet you or it's nice to meet you, so you will say, it's pleased to meet you too. It's nice to meet you too. You can't say, thank you, I'm fine. That's quite wrong answer, right? Wrong reply. So from today onward, how do you do? Response would be how do you do? How are you? I'm fine. Thank you. What about you? So this was all about the difference between how do you do and how are you? Because most of the students are confused how and what to reply to how are you and how do you do. So keep watching and enjoy learning with Muhammad Imran. Please subscribe my channel and like it too, that you get new videos on the same similar topic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please subscribe and like the channel that you get new videos on interesting topics. Thank you so much.